Have you ever considered how essential the air we breathe is to our existence? Air, it's an omnipresent, invisible entity that we often take for granted, yet it's vital to our survival and the health of our planet. Let's delve into the features, composition, and structure of this air we so casually breathe in and out. Air is a mixture of gases, primarily consisting of nitrogen and oxygen, with traces of argon, carbon dioxide, and other minute elements. Nitrogen makes up around 78% of our atmosphere, while oxygen, the life-sustaining element for most organisms, sits at about 21%. The remaining 1% is shared among other gases, each playing its unique role in the grand scheme of our ecosystem. The structure of the atmosphere is layered, much like an onion. Closest to the Earth's surface is the troposphere, where weather patterns form, and life as we know it thrives. Above it, the stratosphere houses the ozone layer, our planet's protective shield against harmful solar radiation. As we ascend higher, we encounter the mesosphere, thermosphere, and finally, the exosphere, which gradually fades into outer space. Now imagine if the balance of these gases were to be disrupted, or if pollutants were to infiltrate these layers. This brings us to a crucial aspect of air resources: air quality management. It's a global concern, affecting everything from our health to the climate. Breathing in clean air is not a luxury, but a necessity. Polluted air can lead to a multitude of health problems, including respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, and at a larger scale, it contributes to climate change. Managing air quality involves monitoring pollutant levels, enforcing regulations, and implementing strategies to reduce emissions. It's a collective responsibility, requiring global cooperation and individual action. Small changes in our daily lives, like reducing energy consumption, opting for public transportation, or planting a tree, can contribute to improved air quality. So the next time you take a breath, remember the invaluable resource you're utilizing. Each breath is a testament to the delicate balance of our atmosphere, a balance we must strive to maintain for the future of our planet. Did you know that forests are often referred to as the lungs of the Earth? It's not just a poetic metaphor. Forests play a crucial role in our planet's health, acting as vast oxygen factories and carbon sinks, absorbing nearly 1/3 of all the carbon dioxide emitted globally. But these green lungs are under threat. Deforestation, largely driven by human activities like agriculture, urbanization, and logging, is causing the loss of precious forest cover. This not only disrupts the balance of carbon and oxygen in the atmosphere, but also threatens the rich biodiversity harbored in these forests. Consider the case of the Amazon rainforest, often called the world's largest pharmacy, because of its wealth of medicinal plants. However, rampant deforestation for timber extraction and mining is causing irreversible damage to this invaluable resource. The loss is not just environmental, but cultural too. Indigenous tribes, who have inhabited these forests for centuries, are being displaced, their traditional ways of life eroded. Dams, though often hailed as symbols of human progress, can have a detrimental impact on forests. The construction of large dams often necessitates the flooding of vast tracts of forest land, causing habitat loss for countless species. The displacement and disruption of tribal communities living in these areas is another grave concern. For instance, the construction of the Sardar Sarovar Dam in India led to the displacement of several tribal communities, a heavy price to pay for development. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are success stories too. The Chipko movement in India in the 1970s is an inspiring example of community-led forest conservation. Women from the local communities hugged the trees to prevent them from being cut down, symbolizing the intrinsic bond between humans and nature. As we can see, forests are not just trees, they are complex ecosystems that require our protection. The conservation of these green lungs is not just an environmental issue, but a social and economic one too. It's about preserving our natural heritage for future generations. So let's pledge to protect our green lungs, because when the last tree is cut, the last river poisoned, we will realize that we can't eat money. Water is the essence of life, but are we treating it as such? Now, this is the question that we must ask ourselves as we dive into the depths of the world's water resources. Our planet is not called the blue planet for no reason. 70% of it is covered in water. But did you know that only 3% of this water is fresh and drinkable? And out of that, 2/3 are frozen in glaciers and polar ice caps. Our existence is tethered to this tiny fraction of available fresh water found in rivers, lakes, and underground reservoirs. However, our usage patterns often tip the balance, leading to overutilization of these precious resources. We have been drawing from these reserves at an alarming rate for irrigation, industry, and domestic use. This over-extraction often leads to groundwater depletion and water scarcity. And it's not just about quantity, quality matters too. Poor water quality management can lead to contamination of these resources, posing major health risks. For instance, high concentrations of fluoride and arsenic in groundwater have led to serious health issues in several parts of the world. This overutilization and mismanagement of water also have ripple effects, leading to problems such as floods and droughts. On one hand, we have areas grappling with floods, while on the other, we have regions parched dry, waiting for a single drop of rain. In the face of these challenges, we've turned to dams for solutions. While dams indeed serve crucial purposes like hydroelectric power generation and irrigation, they too come with a set of problems. They can lead to displacement of people and wildlife, alteration of ecosystems, and even trigger seismic activities. The conflicts over water resources are not just limited to humans. They extend to wildlife and ecosystems too, as we encroach on their habitats and disrupt the natural water cycle. Water is a crucial resource that we must learn to use wisely. Let this be our mantra as we sail through the waters of life, understanding that each drop counts, and that our actions today will determine the availability of this essence of life for future generations. Managing our water resources effectively is not an option, but a necessity. The lifeblood of our planet, water is a resource that we often take for granted, yet its management is crucial for our survival and that of future generations. Water resources come in various forms such as rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Each of these plays a unique role in our ecosystem and requires specific management strategies. Rivers, for example, flow through landscapes, linking areas and providing a crucial habitat for a myriad of species. Their management involves maintaining their health and ensuring that their water quality is not compromised by pollution or overuse. Lakes, on the other hand, act as nature's water storage units. They provide us with fresh water for drinking, irrigation, and even hydroelectric power. However, they are also vulnerable to pollution and overexploitation. Therefore, their management involves careful monitoring and regulation to prevent them from turning into lifeless water bodies. Groundwater is another critical water resource, often hidden from our sight, but nonetheless vital. It provides us with a steady supply of water, especially during times of drought. However, over-extraction of groundwater can lead to dire consequences such as land subsidence or the sinking of the Earth's surface. Poor management of water resources can also lead to health problems. For instance, groundwater in certain areas can contain high levels of fluorides and arsenic, leading to fluorosis and arsenicosis respectively. These conditions can have serious health impacts, from dental and skeletal fluorosis to skin lesions and cancers in the case of arsenicosis. So, how can we manage our water resources effectively? It involves a combination of strategies, from water conservation practices and pollution control to legal frameworks and public awareness. It's about understanding the value of water, respecting its limits, and making efforts to use it sustainably. In the end, the management of our water resources is not just about the here and now, but about the future. It's about ensuring that our children and their children have access to clean, healthy water. After all, our survival depends on how well we manage our water resources. With all these resources at our disposal, why is conservation so crucial? Well, imagine a world where the air is so polluted it's difficult to breathe, the forests are barren, and water is scarce. Sounds like a dystopian novel, right? Unfortunately, it's a potential reality if we don't prioritize the conservation of our natural resources. Air, forests, and water are not just resources that we use daily. They are the lifelines of our planet, our health, and our survival. So when we talk about conservation, it's not just about protecting these resources, it's about preserving life itself. The air we breathe is not infinite. Every puff of smoke from industries, vehicles, and even our homes contributes to air pollution, impacting our health and the health of our planet. By practicing air quality management, like reducing emissions and using cleaner energy sources, we can ensure cleaner air for future generations. Our forests, often referred to as the lungs of our planet, are under threat from deforestation, mining, and dam construction. These activities not only strip the land of its green cover, but also displace tribal people who call these forests home. By curbing these activities, we can conserve our forests and maintain the intricate balance of our ecosystems. Water, the essence of life, is also being overutilized, leading to conflicts and devastating natural calamities like floods and droughts. By managing our water resources efficiently, we can prevent water scarcity and ensure access to clean water for all. While these issues might seem overwhelming, remember, change starts with us. Simple actions like reducing waste, recycling, planting trees, conserving water, and using public transportation can make a significant difference. Every action counts when it comes to conserving our natural resources. So what will your contribution be? Subscribe for more because you won't find me later. Together we can make a difference.